इंटेंसिव.
हम्म.
पाइप बन जाती होगी ना, सीधा एक दो पाइप बन गई.
Yes, sir.
मे बी इट इज लाइक दैट. Okay. All right. So I think we are live now. And I will start pasting the questions. We will discuss them and then I will tell you more about projectile motion simultaneously. But let's do some concept questions first. Let's do
Yes, sir.
some concept-oriented problems on the chapter of... Okay, first we'll do conceptual only. Yes. All right. So here you go. लो जी. Okay. Start reading and let's discuss each one of them.
Hmm.
हाँ जी. पहले का आंसर. So, what is the projection angle initially?
0.
Zero का मतलब नहीं, neither 0 nor 90. That means 0 degree projection means what? Horizontal projection.
Hmm.
I told you horizontal projection yesterday from an aeroplane, where
Yes,
there
sir.
is no vertical velocity, but you throw it parallel to the ground. And vertical projection means directly upwards. But in
Hmm.
a projectile motion, we need x-axis and y-axis both.
Yes, sir.
So the projection is neither 0 degree, which means you have not thrown it like this. This is not the way you have thrown it. This is horizontal projection, 0 degree. And neither you have thrown it like this, vertically upwards, which means the projection is 90 degree.
Hmm.
Because this is initial velocity is x-axis. Here the complete initial velocity is y-axis.
Yes, sir.
But we need a mix. So he says, we will project at an angle between 0 and 90. So between 0 and 90, if you project, which means your normal projection, okay, if you project yourself to be between 0 and 90, where is there any place on this trajectory where you will get a 0 velocity? That's the question. Read.
नहीं, possible
Is
नहीं.
possible नहीं. Highest point पे भी x में तो रहेगी, minimum जरूर हो जाएगी, right? So
Hmm.
you can get a minimum velocity at the highest point, which is u cos theta, but it will never be 0. x में तो कुछ तो रहेगा, y में खत्म हो जाएगा. Okay? And when is the velocity minimum?
At maximum height.
Correct. Because it is only u component. Good answer. Velocity ever 0? No. Next. Can the velocity ever be the same as the initial velocity at a time other than t equal to 0? Assume that he means magnitude.
हम्म,
जितनी वेलोसिटी से फेंका था, क्या पूरी ट्रेजेक्टरी में कोई ऐसा पॉइंट आएगा कि वो वेलोसिटी रिपीट होगी?
नहीं नहीं।
मैग्नीट्यूड तो रिपीट होगा ना. सिमेट्री से इफ इट यू थ्रो इट विद यू, इट फॉल्स बैक विद यू. आई टोल्ड यू.
हाँ
तो आंसर इज यस. मैग्नीट्यूड वाइज यस, डायरेक्शन वाइज नो. क्योंकि वो डायरेक्शन उसकी यू की अपवर्ड है. उसके दो कंपोनेंट जो बनेंगे यू के, वो बनेंगे यू कॉस थीटा आई प्लस यू साइन थीटा जे. इनिशियल के, ये वाले के.
लेकिन वेलोसिटी तो कभी सेम हो ही नहीं सकती,
हाँ,
वेलोसिटी में तो
भाई मैंने
डायरेक्शन
बोला
होती है।
मैग्नीट्यूड.
हाँ
मैग्नीट्यूड
वो तो है।
ठीक है ना. और इसके वेलोसिटी का मैग्नीट्यूड क्या होगा जब गिरेगा नीचे इम्पैक्ट पॉइंट पे? यू कॉस थीटा डज नॉट चेंज,
हम्म,
बट द वाई कॉम्पोनेंट विल बिकम.
ठीक है।
गॉट इट? ऑलराइट. नेक्स्ट. कैन द स्पीड एवर बी सेम एज द इनिशियल
हो
स्पीड?
सकती है।
हाँ, हो सकती है. राइट. इनफैक्ट the whole motion is symmetric, so every
हम्म,
point that corresponds here will have a corresponding point but in the opposite direction.
हम्म,
If this was 2 meter per second, this will become 2 meter per second exactly at the same point, at the same coordinate of y. x अलग हो जाएगा क्योंकि आगे चला गया. It has covered more distance, but at the same point height it behaves symmetrically.
correct।
इसके ठीक है. बट यू राइट, velocity cannot be same because the direction gets reversed.
हम्म,
Only magnitude, which is speed, is same. Very good.
yes sir।
आगे. All right, eighth. So again he's saying neither 0 nor 80, which means neither he is projecting horizontally, which means he's not throwing the ball like this. ये तो मैंने हाइट से फेंका ना,
यस सर।
तो प्रोजेक्टाइल बना. लेकिन हो सकता है वो जमीन पे बैठ के बॉल को जमीन पे ही फेंक दे सिर्फ. दैट मीन्स इट्स हॉरिजॉन्टल. तो बॉल ऐसी जाएगी ना, बस लाइक अ लीनियर मोशन ऑन द. ये ब्लॉक ऑफ मास है, इसको आपने v वेलोसिटी दे दी, तो ये हो गया ना 0 डिग्री. ये तो मैंने हाइट से फेंका था तो थोड़ा सा प्रोजेक्टाइल नजर आ गया, बट जमीन पे ऐसे फेंकोगे तो क्या होगा? नथिंग, राइट?
यस सर।
ऑलराइट. So you're again projecting at angle theta. Then what happens? Is the acceleration ever 0?
नेवर।
Never. x में होगी नहीं, y के अंदर हमेशा -g रहेगी. नेक्स्ट. मतलब कहीं पे वेलोसिटी वेक्टर इज इट लाइक पैरेलल, माने y में ही एक्सेलरेशन है, तो कोई किसी पॉइंट पे वेलोसिटी वेक्टर मतलब रिजल्टेंट वेलोसिटी, डज इट एवर बिकम पैरेलल और एंटी पैरेलल टू? मतलब इफ योर a इज दिस, किसी पॉइंट पे क्या वेलोसिटी वेक्टर भी सेम डायरेक्शन में या एंटी पैरेलल डायरेक्शन में हो पाता है? You can think through the trajectory, including the critical points. The critical points are points of throw, the points of impact, and the highest point. और बीच में तो कहीं बन ही नहीं रहा. I mean, G is like this, right? This is not parallel.
होगा
G
सेम
is like
डायरेक्शन
this,
में।
not parallel. इधर जो है V and G are perpendicular.
यस सर।
But I don't see any place where you are anti-parallel. पैरेलल भी नहीं है कहीं पे. y में
यस
तो
सर।
हो ही नहीं सकती ना रिजल्टेंट वेलोसिटी फिर. ओके, नेक्स्ट. ये तो अभी हमने कर लिया. सी.
हाँ होगा।
हाईएस्ट पॉइंट, velocity is in x-axis and acceleration is y-axis. Yes, no, clear, not clear.
नहीं क्लियर है.
यहाँ पे वेलोसिटी क्या होती है हाईएस्ट पॉइंट पे?
0.
जीरो नहीं होती, यू कॉस थीटा होती है.
वर्टिकल में 0 है.
हाँ, वर्टिकल तो पूछा ही नहीं इसने, इसने तो वेलोसिटी
हाँ.
वेक्टर पूछा है.
यस.
तो यू कॉस थीटा तो रहती है ना.
हाँ
और
वो तो
उस
है.
टाइम पे एक्सेलरेशन किधर होती है?
एक्सलेशन डाउनवर्ड.
वो तो वो भी चेंज नहीं होती. व्हाट इज
हाँ.
द एंगल बिटवीन देम नाउ? 90.
हाँ 90 होगा.
टेल मी इफ यू हैव अ डाउट.
नहीं.
ठीक है, नाइन्थ. Which coin hits the ground first? Basically, these are coins, right? Quarter,
हम्म.
dime, coins, right? So a quarter is slid horizontally on the table and a surface perpendicular to the edge and hits the dime. Which coin hits the ground first? Which means you are saying this, right? So you have a table. You have a table like this, and you have a dime is placed at the edge, which is this. Okay, and a quarter is slid horizontally on the, so there is a quarter bigger coin that comes and hits it. Both fall down. Okay, and which coin hits the ground first? Remember, since if you hit it, it will go like a projectile,
हम्म.
right? The other one, although they have not given the trajectory, might might fall down directly.
हम्म.
Since if you are on the same height, if agar, and if you're hit, you get a horizontal velocity.
यस सर.
So two situations: one body is thrown from a height h with a horizontal velocity and covers a projectile motion. The
ओके.
other body comes directly down.
हम्म.
In both the situations, since the height is h, whether or not you have an x-axis velocity, this is a direct fall, like a free fall.
यस सर.
This is the one which has horizontal part also. It does not matter if you have horizontal part, because the time taken to come down is not dependent on the horizontal velocity you impart, but is only dependent on how high are you.
ओके.
Which means if you throw at u cos theta, your vertical component initial is how much?
यू साइन थीटा.
Zero. You have nothing,
हाँ.
because your projection is horizontal.
यस सर.
No velocity was given to you. And
हम्म.
same is true for the second body. Even this was just dropped downwards. Dropped. Dropped means if you just drop a body, which means you leave it from your hand, you get uy is equal to 0. Second, if you project a body horizontally, you get the
ओके.
same situation. There is no difference between the two.
हम्म.
Either you leave the body from your hand and allow it to come down vertically. So this body is now coming vertically downwards. Or same body at the same height is projected horizontally,
हम्म.
which means like this. Again, it may have a ux, but it has no uy.
Okay.
The time taken to come down in both the cases is same because
Hmm.
they are at the same vertical height. The only difference in the motion is this becomes a projectile motion because it has a ux component. So it moves forward also apart from going down. But this motion only is a vertical motion because it has not been given any initial pro- horizontal projection or velocity.
Okay.
Any doubts in your mind?
No.
Okay, clear, right? All
Yes, sir.
right, let's do some more concept oriented question. And okay, so let's say, right, right. How can we solve? All right, so sometimes projectile is used in daily life. Okay, let's
Okay.
see how it is used. Even if you don't remember the formulas, you can divide the motion in two parts, x and y, and still solve them. If you memorize, it becomes very easy. All right, sorry. I think we've done this. Try this. Time of flight is what? What is the formula of time of flight? The total time it will take. अगर आप एक, if you throw this body, which is a projectile, it will be in air for some time. It is called as the time of flight.
Hmm.
Yesterday we calculated the total time of flight of a projectile to be u sine theta by g, which means if you have a motorcyclist, okay, and there is a ramp he is given, so he comes from the ramp like this and then leaves the ramp and goes like a projectile.
Okay.
Now, when why is he doing this? That he needs a angular projection. He gets it
Correct.
from the ramp of 30 degrees. The
Hmm.
range he has to cover is 50 meters. He has to cross the river.
Yes, sir.
Question is, given his speed is 35 meter per second, given he is projected at 30 degree, will he be able to cross this river or not? Which means if we have to find the range of his projectile. Ideally,
Okay.
what I've drawn, he's crossing, right? But if we
Hmm.
calculate the range and it comes out to be less, then he will not be able to cross. He may fall here.
Correct.
So this will become your range.
Hmm.
Sure, aim in the question is to find the range of the projectile and then say, is it greater than 50 or less than 50? If it
Okay.
is less than 50, you failed,
Hmm.
right? And then how do you, if you know the time of flight, if you know the time of flight and you know the horizontal velocity is u cos theta,
Correct.
and the motion is also horizontal, the range. So
Hmm.
range, which is the total x-axis distance, is given by u cos theta. Displacement is equal to velocity into time into total time of flight. So this, how, what does this become? This becomes range is equal to u square sine 2 theta by g.
Okay.
Put the values now. You know u, you
Hmm.
know 30 degrees. Put it here. डालो and calculate the range of this motorcyclist and then compare it with 50 meters. Put the values. 35 square sine 60 divided by 10. Take GS 10. Tell me if you have a doubt in your mind कि हमने करा क्या.
नहीं.
स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड है बहुत. डिस्टेंस इज इक्वल टू स्पीड इनटू टाइम का फॉर्मूला लगाया. सिर्फ टाइम में एक चीज थी, टोटल टाइम ऑफ फ्लाइट निकाल लिया था. फॉर्मूला याद था टोटल टाइम ऑफ फ्लाइट का. उसको एक्स एक्सिस वेलोसिटी जो कांस्टेंट रहती है उससे कर लिया था. देखो कितनी रेंज आ गई. मेरे को क्योंकि टाइम ऑफ फ्लाइट अच्छी तरह से पता था, सो इट वाज इजी. यस, सही है. No, no, don't put this. Put 10. I told you to put 10. Calculations will become very difficult. Keep your life simple.
लेकिन एग्जाम में तो 9.8 ही डालना पड़ेगा.
नहीं, लिखा होता है जनरली जेई के अंदर. टेक जी इज इक्वल टू 10.
ये तो कुछ कॉम्प्लेक्स सा आ रहा है.
क्या कॉम्प्लेक्स आ रहा है? कैलकुलेशन.
हाँ,
कैलकुलेशन कॉम्प्लेक्स है.
मतलब हो गई, लेकिन जो आंसर आया वो
योर
थोड़ा सा.
स्पीड हैज टू गो अप फ्रेंड. आई टोल्ड यू. यू शुड नो हाउ टू कैलकुलेट. यू कांट वेस्ट टाइम. देखो आपने ये 10 ऊपर लिख दिया जो नीचे था. डिवाइड हो रहा था, ऊपर चला गया. दिख रहा है क्या कर रहा है? 10
समझे?
डिवाइड हो रहा है यार. अब डिवीजन यार, डिवीजन शुड, यू शुड नो डिवीजन. यू डिवाइडिंग बाय 10, यू मल्टीप्लाइड बाय 10. दिस शुड हैव बीन 20. 5 fours are 5 twos are 5 fours are 5. ठीक है, तो ये आ गया. तो मेक इट 245 मल्टीप्लाई बाय 1.7 डिवाइडेड बाय 4. क्या कॉम्प्लिकेटेड है?
कोई मेरे को ये अजीब लंबा आंसर आया
नो
लेकिन
नो नो नो, योर कैलकुलेशंस आर वीक. दे आर नॉट अप टू द मार्क. वी विल
वो
हैव टू
जीरो तो
वर्क ऑन
गलती
योर.
से लिखा हुआ था मैंने.
मेरे को तो यही नजर आ रहा है ना यार. बट यू हैव टू लर्न द शॉट. समझ में आ गया गलती? एंड 35 × 35 आपने करा तो डिवाइडेड बाई 20 था ना, तो इजी नहीं था ये. 5 4s आर 5
हाँ वो तो
5s आर,
ठीक है, वो तो मैं कर ही लेता हूँ उसकी
है ना.
तो।
सो देखो ये आगे कितना आ जाएगा, 101 आ जाएगा. और ये √3 है. कितना आ गया? sin 2 थीटा. 60 से तो ज़्यादा ही आ रहा है. 60 से तो बहुत ज़्यादा आ रहा है.
हाँ
मतलब जो 50 से ज़्यादा आ रहा है, सॉरी. सो यू विल बी इजीली एबल टू क्रॉस इट. रफली अराउंड 61 × 1.7 आ गया ना.
हम्म
क्रॉस हो जाएगा ना, मतलब
हाँ
50 मीटर क्रॉस करना था. रेंज तो 60 से भी बड़ी आ रही है.
हाँ
रफली अराउंड 102.
हम्म
102. Calculations are very important. If you go wrong and slow, you're dead meat. I'll help you with that. Okay. Solve this next. इसको नीचे ले जाओ. All right. Hope this is clear.
हम्म
करो. पढ़ लो आराम से. If you need any help in the formula, ask me. I will tell you. But broadly, खास मुश्किल है नहीं. करो डिस्कशन. I'm okay for a discussion with you. So 20 मीटर पर सेकेंड हॉरिजॉन्टली तो अलाउड है, राइट?
yes sir.
So what is the least height at which she can play the ball to clear the net? Backline से if she hits, then she is able to. What is the least height at which she can play? How far behind the net does the ball land when it is played at that height? Horizontally straight down the court from the backline. So we know the horizontal projection is available to us, some type of. What is your aim? अगर मैं आपसे एम पूछूं आपका डायग्राम में, if I ask you the aim, you want that it should clear the net, right?
हम्म
Diagram देखो ना, look at the diagram. And when you play from the back line, which is here, right? That's your back line, right? So you hit it from the back line. So you know how much x you have to travel, right?
Yes, sir.
This is the x you need to travel, and the ball just has to clear the net, right? It has to clear the net. So you know the coordinates की trajectory में, if you have hit the ball, for example, and that was your net, ये net है आपका, right? What happens? What is the height you need to cover? So y is equal to x tan theta minus gx square upon 2u square cos square theta. The projectile trajectory equation, we studied it. ये डेरिवेशन करी थी हमने, y और x का रिलेशनशिप निकाला था कल. If you can find any coordinate on the trajectory using this equation, you can link the x and y of the point on the trajectory. We did this derivation yesterday. So if you notice, इस समय x जो है इसका जब एक क्रॉस कर रहा है तो x कितना है? 11.90. और y which is a height जो उसको क्लियर करनी है वो कितनी है? ये.
Yes, sir.
So you know कि यार ये बस just clear करना है. And I have told you the equation also. Now what do? Have you understood the problem in itself कि हो क्या रहा है?
हाँ.
Okay, calculate if 11.9 पे आप हो, if you have to cover 11.9 meters, how much time do you have? You know the velocity also, right? Horizontal velocity. So she placed the ball horizontally, straight down the court from the back line. How much time you have to cover? 11.9 meters. ठीक है. This is x, right?
Yes, sir.
And how much distance you have to cover?
11.9 into.
Correct. So find correct. So speed is equal to distance upon time, right? So time will be 11.9 divided by 20. If you throw horizontally, right, you will take 11.90 meters to cover this. Now find out what is a vertical height you will lose in 11.90 in this much time. She has hit it horizontally. तो नीचे अगर आप हॉरिजॉन्टल मारोगे तो बॉल तो नीचे चली जाएगी ना ऐसे.
Yes, sir.
Which means it will not cross. पर तो इसका मतलब उसे कोई ऊंचाई से मारो या तो, you know, so she has just hit it straight and will not be able to because the ball will go like this. So first of all, find out कि if she hits it like this, how much is the y component? So इसका जो y component अगर निकालें तो initial velocity 0 है y में, तो ut plus half at square is equal to. Question is difficult because you are not aware of the terminology of backline and how high etc. right? That is not coming out clearly. जो इन questions में बड़ी आसानी से आ जाता है ना? So this is 10 and this is time तो आपने निकाल ही लिया.
हाँ.
So you get minus 5 into 11.90 20 square. So let's calculate ये कितना आता है, right? इसको निकाल के देख लेते हैं. ये जो आपका ड्रॉप इन हाइट है, पहली बात तो हमें मतलब इस ड्रॉप इन हाइट को टैकल करना होगा.
हाँ.
So let's see what is the value. Let's use calculator. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so if I calculate it, it comes out to be, okay, 1.77. तो अगर वो स्ट्रेट मार दिया उसने तो -1.77 मीटर हाइट लॉस हो जाएगा उसका इतने टाइम में।
ठीक
बट
है।
हमें तो इतने टाइम में उसे क्रॉस भी करवाना है ना।
हम्म।
गॉट इट, वी हैव टू स्ट्रेट मार दिया तो इट विल गो डाउन, सो इट विल देयर बी अ ड्रॉप इन हाइट, राइट?
यस सर।
So we have two problems come up now when you cross the net. Two problems. One, the net itself has a height,
हम्म।
and if you hit it horizontally, this anyway loses a height of 1.77 meters. So how should, तो अगर आपने उसको horizontally मारा तो it just comes like this, right?
हम्म।
And in 1.77, in this much time, which is very little time, by the time it reaches the net, right? हॉरिजॉन्टली तो कवर कर लिया 11.9,
हाँ।
बट हाइट वाइज उसने जो मारा वो जितनी भी मतलब जहां से भी मारा वहां से 1.77 मीटर नीचे आने की पोटेंशियल है। तो अज्यूम द टेनिस प्लेयर्स हाइट, ये टेनिस प्लेयर की हाइट है, वेरी टॉल, ओके, weird diagram, but anyway, so hits the ball from a height of 1.77 meters.
ओके।
This is the net. Now, when he or she hits the ball, in the time we have to cover 11.99 with a horizontal projection, this is what will happen.
हम्म।
तो टेनिस प्लेयर की हाइट 1.77 मीटर होगी तो मिलेगा ना 1.77 मीटर गिरने की अपॉर्चुनिटी, नहीं तो और पहले गिर जाओगे।
हम्म।
एक तो आपको 11.77 मीटर्स जो है वो सीधा सीधा आप नीचे आओगे इफ यू थ्रो फ्रॉम दिस पोजीशन हॉरिजॉन्टली।
Yes,
अगर आपने ऐसे मार दिया, शॉट मारी और आपकी हाइट है 1.77 सेंटीमीटर, आपकी बॉल यहां आके गिर जाएगी।
हम्म।
कवर तो कर लेगी डिस्टेंस, बट
sir.
हॉरिजॉन्टली प्रोजेक्ट होके प्रोजेक्टाइल में यहां आके गिर जाएगी। बस क्रॉस तो नहीं हुआ, हमें तो जस्ट क्रॉस करवाना था इसको, राइट? नाउ द पॉइंट इज एडिशनली वी वांट कि इस जगह पे ये जब गिरे तो क्रॉस कर जाए, ऐसे जाना
ठीक है।
चाहिए आइडियली, राइट? तो वो बोल रहे हैं कि 1.77 मीटर से अगर मैं मारता हूं तो आई एम गोइंग टू लूज, आई विल नॉट बी एबल टू क्रॉस, आई विल जस्ट फॉलो इन फ्रंट ऑफ द नेट।
अच्छा।
गिर गए ना नेट के आगे बिल्कुल ही, और मतलब
हाँ।
यू नो, और नेट की हाइट कितनी है अपनी? नेट की हाइट कितनी लिखी है क्वेश्चन में? देखो डायग्राम में, गो एंड सी द नेट्स हाइट।
0.9 मीटर।
इसका मतलब क्या हुआ? एक्चुअली योर वाई विच यू नीड टू कवर इज, एक तो जो ड्रॉप ड्यू टू ग्रेविटी है वो जान कवर करना है आपको,
हम्म।
प्लस 0.90 और भी कवर करना है।
यस सर।
तो अगर आप 1.77 मीटर के हो तो नेट के यहां आके गिरते हो,
हम्म।
अगर 1.77 मीटर के हो तो नेट के हो। लेकिन अगर मैं आपको बोलूं कि आपको नेट क्रॉस कराना है तो वही जो 0.90 और ऊंचाई से अगर मारोगे, तो 1.77 से मारा तो यहां आके गिरे,
ठीक है।
अब मार रहे हो 1.77 प्लस 0.90 से, नाउ हिट इट। तो जब ये नेट पे पहुंचेगी तो हमें मालूम है कि इसका लॉस इन हाइट कितना हो जाएगा, 1.77।
यस सर।
इसका मतलब यहां तक आते आते जो इसका वर्टिकल ड्रॉप है वो कितना रहेगा, 1.77।
करेक्ट।
लेकिन आपने पहले ही वो 0.9 ऐड कर रखा है, तो दिस टाइम अराउंड इट विल गो लाइक दिस, बट ड्रॉप अभी भी 1.77 का है।
हम्म।
पहले कैलकुलेट कर लिया कि ग्रेविटी का इन्फ्लुएंस क्या होगा। द ग्रेविटी इज बाउंड टू ब्रिंग इट बाय 1 पॉइंट, कुछ नहीं कर सकते आप उसका, देयर इज नो कंट्रोल यू हैव।
हाँ।
If you just go plainly by the gravity, you're dead. Therefore, if you see the tennis players first, when they do a service, they do it from the top. ऊपर से करते हैं service.
हाँ।
They gain extra height because of that, because they don't need to cross the net also. They know the influence of gravity. तो आपने देखा कभी टेनिस प्लेयर को हॉरिजॉन्टली टेनिस करते ऐसे मारते हुए सर्विस को?
नहीं।
नेवर। Always from the, because he needs a height to cover it. Especially when you're hitting horizontally, you are going to fall down.
हाँ
So gain an initial velocity so that during your projectile motion, which means if you hit from the height of 1.77 plus 0.90, and this is your net of 0.90 and located at a distance of 11.90 meters. When you hit from here, you fall down here. If you hit from here, you will fall again 1.77, but cross also. छूते हुए चले जाओगे ना नेट को.
हाँ
सो अभी भी हॉरिजॉन्टल प्रोजेक्शन है, लेकिन यू हैव इंक्रीज द हाइट ऑफ योर हॉरिजॉन्टल प्रोजेक्शन.
ठीक है
Again 20, but now you know this loss is going to be 1.77. तो क्रॉस तो कर ही गए अब.
यस सर
Got it? So if you look into the question, what is they asked? Tricky question, right? Not सोचना पड़ेगा हुआ क्या. What is the least height at which he can play the ball to clear the net? Now you've got the least height. 1.77 gravity का loss over कम करना है, प्लस नेट को भी कवर करना है, तो 1.77 प्लस 0.90. Okay, how far behind the net does the ball when it is land? तो अब आपको बेसिकली निकालना है कि इस हाइट से अगर आपने फेंका नई हाइट से, तो ये नेट से कितनी दूर जाके गिरेगा. तो आप अगर इतनी हाइट पे हो, इफ यू आर एट दिस हाइट which is 1.77 plus 0.90, you are at 2.67 meters, which means you have to come vertically down by 2.60, 2.6. So let me calculate. 2.67 is equal to half gt square 2 into 2.67. इतनी vertical में calculate कर रहा हूँ y axis में,
ठीक है
upon g, which is 9.8. So t is equal to under root of 2 into 2.67 upon 9.8. So इतना टाइम लगेगा नीचे आने में, और आगे बढ़ने में कितना टाइम लगेगा. मतलब ये डिस्टेंस भी निकालना है हमें.
हाँ
ये निकलेगा जो उसकी x वेलोसिटी है 20 मल्टीप्लाई बाय द सेम टाइम जो अभी निकाला है हमने.
करेक्ट
तो ये x डिस्टेंस आ गया इसका, जो ये कवर करेगा एट द न्यू हाइट ऑफ 2.67. उसमें से सब्ट्रैक्ट 11.90.
अच्छा
यू विल कम टू नो नेट से कितनी दूर गिरा जाके.
समझ गया
तो एक्सपोजर की बात है. इफ यू गेट एक्सपोज धीरे धीरे धीरे, यू विल डेवलप इनटू अ मैच्योर प्रॉब्लम सॉल्वर. बट इफ यू गुड, मतलब मैं भी एक्सपोज कर सकता हूँ, बट अ लॉट ऑफ इट इज हाउ यू एक्सपोज योर सेल्फ. आप अपने को भी एक्सपोज करो कि भाई ये आई हैव टू डू मोर एंड मोर प्रॉब्लम्स.
यस
Then only you will get that required maturity. Okay, let's put you in some trouble so that you also start understanding this motion apart from in more detail. I'll tell you some more tricks now, but try this question. देखो कर पाते हो? Something very similar, but let's say, are you able to? This was a hard question. what do you think is the concept to be used? Don't worry about anything. Just think in terms of the concept you plan to use. कॉन्सेप्ट क्या लगता है आपको? मैक्सिमम हाइट का नहीं लग रहा? मतलब क्रॉस कराना है ना, उतनी हाइट तो चाहिए ना. मतलब मैं एक दीवार के सामने खड़ा हूं. आई एम स्टैंडिंग इन फ्रंट ऑफ अ वॉल, राइट?
Yes, sir.
This is my wall. So first thing you have to do in a projectile motion is always draw a diagram. And at a distance, my
Sure.
wall is 2.5 meters and I am located at 2.4 meters away, right?
Hmm.
And the angle is 40 degrees
Yes, sir.
projection. What I want is pass over or not, right? Which means ये वाला इस प्रोजेक्टाइल में जो 10 मीटर पर सेकेंड स्पीड से भेजा है आपने एट एन एंगल ऑफ 40 डिग्री, क्या ये वाला पॉइंट कभी उस पे आएगा या नहीं आएगा उसकी ट्रेजेक्ट्री में? इसके कोऑर्डिनेट्स क्या होंगे जिसको क्रॉस करवाना है? तो पूरे पाथ में एक पॉइंट तो मालूम है ना जहां डिस्प्लेसमेंट एक्स में 4 होगी और वाई में 2.5 होगी.
हाँ.
वी नो दैट, राइट? एंड वी नो द इनिशियल वेलोसिटी ऑल्सो and we know the angle also.
Hmm.
Now we just need to think, will the ball pass over? Which means if we consider this that we have to cover a distance of 4 meters, at 4 meters what is going to be y? If at 4 meters horizontal distance, if y is less than 2.5, it will not cross.
हाँ.
So you know the horizontal projection, right? U cos theta
Yes, sir.
divided into x and y. So u cos theta is how much? 10 cos 40.
Hmm.
And what is the horizontal distance to be covered? So time कितना आ गया? Speed is equal to distance upon time, right?
Correct.
What is the distance we are referring to? 4 meters.
Hmm.
The speed is known to us, u cos 40. And we will be able to find the time it takes for this ball to cover 4 meters. Now the only thing we have to establish in the same time, what will be the value of y? If the value of y comes out to be greater than 2.5, it will cross.
Hmm.
If it comes out to be less than 2.5, it will not. क्योंकि उतने टाइम में वो ग्रेविटी तो अपना असर दिखाएगी ना. अगर
Yes, sir.
ग्रेविटी नहीं होती, it would have gone straight
Hmm.
like a straight rocket. But gravity pulls it down ना हर जगह पे. तो
हाँ.
trajectory becomes a projectile.
Hmm.
Right? So u cos 40. What is u cos 40? Let's see. The u cos 40. Okay. I'm just seeing the cos table, okay?
ठीक है.
Cos of 40 degree is equal to 0.766.
ठीक है.
Okay, so let's say we have 4 divided by 0.766. This is the time I have available horizontally.
Hmm.
Okay, let me do this calculation also. So 4 divided by 0.766, 5.22. And now I have to calculate what is the position of this body with u as 10 sine 40 into 5.22 minus half into 9.8 into 5.22 square. So let's see, 10 into 5.22 into sine of 40. Let me see what is the value of sine of 40. I hope you're able to understand what we are doing. कर क्या रहे हैं, right? It is very important. 0.6427. 0.64 ही लिख लेते हैं. 0.64 minus 4.9 into 5.22 whole square, right? So this is 52.2 multiplied by 0.64 minus 4.9 into 5.22 whole square. Now, if this comes out to be greater than 2.5, which is a vertical, cross हो जाएगा. मतलब वहां उसको अगर लेकिन y में अगर ये लेस देन 2.5 निकला तो क्रॉस नहीं होगा.
नहीं होगा.
Don't worry whether you were able to solve it. Are you able to develop the thinking is the question.
यस सर, हो रहा
है ना, वो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है कि भैया मेरे को ये ओके अच्छा ये ऐसे सोचना है. 52.2 into 0.64, right? Into 0.64. Okay, it's 3.34.
Correct.
Sorry, it's 33 point something, right? 33 approximately. Okay, so this is 33.42 minus 4.9 into 5.22 square. Okay, so 5.22 multiplied by 5.22 is equal to 3.36. No, cannot be. I think something wrong. क्या multiply करना है? 5.22 into 5.22, right?
Yes, sir.
5.22 is equal to, it's 27.24.
Okay.
I hope you have done this correctly. 1 second. So 4 meters, 10 cos 40 came out to be how much? Time is equal to u cos 30 is 10 cos. So 10 cos 40. 1 second यार. 1 minute. हमने टाइम निकालना था ना. डिस्टेंस वॉज 4. ओह, इंटू 10 रह गया यार एक. 0.52 seconds. So this is 0.522, right? सारी गड़बड़ हो गई. Now let's do the recalculation. Oh my god. Let me rub this off. I was wondering कि would कुछ वैल्यू ठीक सी आ नहीं रही है. So what's going on? Alright, so we are essentially at 10 into 0.522 and a sine of 40, right? Which was 0.64. So ये तो हमारा वही आ गया था जो टाइम निकाला था हमने. ये यू है ना, यू टी, और ये यू साइन थीटा है. ये साइन थीटा है, ये यू है और ये टाइम है. तो यू टी हो गया ना ये. बताओ कैलकुलेशन से कितना टाइम वेस्ट हो गया. ओके, सो वी विल मल्टीप्लाई 10 इंटू 6.4 इंटू 0.522. कितना आया? 6 बताते जाओ मेरे को. 6.4 मल्टीप्लाई बाय हाउ मच?
10 into
0.522. 6.4 multiply by
0.522.
0.522. 3.34 is the first part. Okay. Minus 4.9 into 0.522 square. Oh yeah. 0.522 multiply by 0.522. Okay. Multiply by what?
10.
9.8 कर लूँ
ठीक है।
या 10 ही रखूँ? 9.8, it is 2.67. So 3.34 minus 2.67 कितना? That's a total Y you will be able to get. Doesn't look you will be. Oh no, you are also located at a height of 1 meter above the ground. ये भी नहीं पढ़ा हमने. Your
ओ
throwing was from here.
समझ गया।
ऊंचाई से फेंका था आपने. You already had 1 meter in your favor. So even if I add 1 meter to this, it is 1.67. You still can't.
यस सर।
ये ऐड कर दिया ना एंड में मैंने. ये पर हमें डायग्राम सही बनाना चाहिए था. वी आर थ्रोइंग नॉट फ्रॉम द ग्राउंड बट फ्रॉम द हाइट. तो 1 मीटर का एक्स्ट्रा में एज मिल गया, दैट्स ऑल. और तो कुछ प्रॉब्लम में कुछ मतलब एक्स्ट्रा नहीं हुआ. टेल मी विच पार्ट इज दैट यू लैक क्लैरिटी ऑन.
नहीं अभी तक
मतलब इट्स नॉट, इफ यू डू 2-3 like this you get the point. Not very hard, right? Straightforward. Okay, let's say so I think these questions were where you had an extra height. और तो कुछ भी नहीं था इसके अंदर. Alright, one very important deduction which I told you, I will tell you. Maximum height की deduction हमने कर ली थी, if you remember.
हाँ करी।
45 degrees.
हाँ
At 45 degree the range is maximum. The shot put thrower can throw the ball at the highest range. सबसे दूर जाके गिरती है.
ठीक है।
I think you did not revise. Okay. Look at this deduction. Very important again. Very very important. ये range का कल हमने formula निकाला था. Then I told you that if you put theta is equal to 45 degrees, the range is maximized.
ओके।
That which means you have this, you throw at some angle, then you throw at 45 degrees with the same horizontal speed and maybe some other angle. You will find you go farthest only when your angle is 45 degrees. Assume velocity is fixed.
ठीक है।
You cannot change. That is fixed. Now you have what choice? U cannot be changed. G cannot be changed. Only theta can be changed. Okay. So theta is 45 degree. You will get the maximum range. So we will call it R max. Doubts in your mind?
नहीं।
Okay. If you see this graph, this is a graph of theta versus range. Which means you can see if you keep the theta at 45, you're getting the highest range, which is coming out to be U square by G. So this is a graph of R versus theta. And do you see one more point, which is the conclusion, that you get the same range at two angles, alpha and beta. There are two angles where you see the same range. These are called as symmetry because of symmetry, right? These are called as complementary angles. The good point about these angles is alpha plus beta is equal to 90 degree. And alpha is equal to 90 minus beta. What does it mean? It means if you throw a body at 30 degrees, you get a range. You put the values here, you will get a range. So the range will be equal to U square G sine of 60 degrees. 2 theta हो जाएगा. theta is equal to 60 degrees. Okay, now I'm doing at 90 minus theta at another angle which is 90 minus the earlier angle. Now I'm throwing the body at theta is equal to 60, which is 90 minus 30. So range, this was range at 30 degrees. Now range at 60 degree is equal to u square by g sine of 120 degrees. So this is u square by g root 3 by 2, and range at 60 degree is equal to again the same value.
करेक्ट.
And that is what we noticed. जैसे जैसे हम एंगल बढ़ा रहे हैं, देखो 45 डिग्री तक रेंज बढ़ रही है,
हाँ.
45 डिग्री के बाद रेंज गिर रही है. लेकिन ऊपर जाते हुए जब एंगल बढ़ रहा था, सो देयर वाज अ पॉइंट जहां पे रेंज वाज r at alpha. The same range appeared when you were going down also.
Okay.
This means not going down, where your angle increased to some other. So you started projecting at alpha, and then you projected at another angle which was 90 minus alpha. You found कि यार अल्फा पे कर लो या 90 माइनस अल्फा पे कर लो, रेंज तो सेम ही आ रही है.
सेम ही.
तो ये भी एक इंपॉर्टेंट डिडक्शन है आपका.
अच्छा.
If I tell you I throw the body at 20 degree, what is the other angle which the range will be the same? 70 degree. Got it?
Yes, sir.
कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री एंगल हो गए. एक है कि रेंज मैक्सिमम का होती है, एक है कि वो कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री एंगल का कॉन्सेप्ट क्या होता है. इट मींस इफ यू थ्रो अ बॉडी एट अल्फा, द अदर मैक्सिमा कैन बी ऑब्टेन्ड एज 90 माइनस अल्फा.
ठीक है.
वन मोर कंक्लूजन फॉर यू. ऑल राइट. Okay, so how will they ask these tricky questions? Let's see one tricky question. How do they ask this question? They will not write directly, but they will use some language which you should be capable of capturing. Read it. बोलता व्हाट आर द पॉसिबल. सो रेंज फिक्स कर दी इसने, 30 मीटर रहेगी, राइट? एंड ही इज आस्किंग यू टू कैलकुलेट द थीटास.
यस सर.
सो यू नो द फॉर्मूला ऑफ रेंज, राइट? ऊपर हमने लिखा है ये वाला.
हाँ.
लिखो इसको. सो रेंज इज इक्वल टू, सो हॉरिजॉन्टल डिस्टेंस मींस रेंज. आई एम सेंडिंग यू एन असाइनमेंट ऑफ MCQs.
ठीक है.
So get a grip on the fundamentals. Okay. Tell me if you don't understand any terminology. There is nothing to worry. Just put the value in the range, correct? Now you know speed, right? Range is 30. You have not even written the given quantities in a numerical. Range is given. So first, R is equal to 30 meter. U is equal to 20 मीटर पर सेकेंड, G is equal to 10 मीटर पर सेकेंड. डेटा तो लिखो जो दिया हुआ है, फिर सब्स्टिट्यूट कर लो.
हम्म,
पुट द वैल्यूज. रेंज दी हुई है 30. टेल मी वेयर इज द डिफिकल्टी.
कहीं नहीं, मैं कर ही रहा था.
ओके, टेल मी एनी डाउट्स इन योर माइंड.
नहीं.
थीटा आ जाएगा.
हाँ.
कितना आएगा? 3/4.
हाँ.
अब देख लोगे जाके एंगल थीटा
यस सर.
उसमें टेबल में
हम्म.
जो भी निकला, एक तो वो एंगल आ गया जो निकला टेबल से. दूसरा एंगल क्या होगा? 2 पॉसिबल आंसर.
ठीक.
टेल मी दिस इज टू नॉट क्लियर.
नहीं क्लियर है.
क्लियर है ना? मतलब आपको ऐसे देखना है उसको कि यार ये ये एक मतलब टाइम ऑफ फ्लाइट क्या है, हॉरिजॉन्टल रेंज क्या होती है. थिंक, गेट एक्वाइंटेड एंड फ्रेंडली विद द फॉर्मूलास विच यू हैव डिराइव्ड ऑलरेडी. एक्स एक्सिस में क्या हो रहा है, वाई एक्सिस में क्या हो रहा है. जो भी बंदा एक्स और वाई में सोचना शुरू कर देता है, एक्स में तो कुछ नहीं, एक्सेलरेशन होती नहीं है
हाँ.
और वाई के अंदर होती है. तो मतलब वंस यू स्टार्ट थिंकिंग लाइक दैट is when the projectile becomes very simple for you. What is happening in the motion in x-axis and y-axis, and how can I use one axis and get a value. मैं ज़्यादातर क्या कर रहा हूँ, मैं I am finding a time from the horizontal motion and fitting it back in the vertical motion.
यस सर.
करो ये करो. Let us see if you can start. अब सारे फॉर्मूले ऑलमोस्ट हमने लिख दिए हैं जितनी हमने प्रैक्टिस करी है. सो यू कैन गो अप एंड डाउन and you can see the formulas also. Okay, now we know range first and then write the data which is available to you. Read the question very carefully and see what all is available to you और निकालना क्या है वो उसको question mark. And remember your okay, so range has to be 12. If you disagree, you can let me know. I disagree. I think range is something else. My understanding is range is the horizontal distance you travel. Fair enough. And the player has definitely hit it at an angle. तभी वो possible angles of projection है. 15 meter per second. Range is meters. Meters. Please write the units. These are not numbers. Meter. Meter per second. ठीक है. Meter per second square. Okay. What is the significance of this? You have not captured everything in the question. निकालना क्या है ये भी लिखो. थीटास, राइट. कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री एंगल निकालने, पॉसिबल एंगल्स.
यस सर.
what is the use of 3 meters? That means प्लेयर का जो रैकेट है वो जमीन से 3 मीटर ऊपर था. So generally you do projection like this ना, जैसे अभी हम पढ़ रहे थे. This is your normal one. But in this case you are located at 3 meters. But that means your projection has happened from here. रैकेट यहाँ मारा है ना 3 मीटर की हाइट से.
हम्म,
आई डोंट नो व्हाई 3 मीटर्स इज हाउ इज एन एट अ. अच्छा, हो सकता है आसमान से मारो, बहुत हाइट हो, ऊपर जंप मार के करो,
अच्छा.
है ना. एंड दिस इज योर एंगल ऑफ प्रोजेक्शन. सो दिस इज हाउ मच, 20 मीटर पर सेकेंड स्पीड,
हम्म,
या 15, सॉरी 15 पे मारा, राइट. सो ये सिचुएशन है एक्चुअली. यहां तक तो ग्राउंड टू ग्राउंड है. लेट मी रीड्रॉ दिस, ओके, सो दैट we are able to understand this in a better manner. Okay, let's say this is our, and you hit it at 3 meters height. From 3 meters, it goes like this. Agreed? So,
agreed.
this is your 15 meter per second. There can be two such values. And now, if you notice, net नीचे कितना गया ये? Net displacement. 3 मीटर से ज़्यादा तो हुई नहीं है. डिस्प्लेसमेंट की बात कर रहा हूँ,
हम्म,
है ना. वाई एक्सिस में तो एट द एंड ऑफ द मोशन 3 मीटर ही कवर करे ना नीचे की तरफ.
yes sir.
तो मैं अगर वाई एक्सिस में लिखूं, सो माई डिस्प्लेसमेंट इज हाउ मच? टाइम निकाल लो, 3 मीटर में कितना टाइम लगा. मैं पूरी इक्वेशन में अगर मैं देखूं टाइम मिसिंग है ना, आई डोंट नो, बट ये मुझे
Yes
मालूम है
sir.
कितनी दूर गिरा हूं मैं जाके. हाउ फार हैव आई गॉन? 12 मीटर्स.
हम्म,
ठीक है, सो दिस इज 12. तो देखो यहां तक तो ऐसा लग रहा है कि यहां से यहां तक नॉर्मल वाला प्रोजेक्टाइल है, ये वाला पार्ट
हम्म,
जो मैं डार्क कर रहा हूं.
yes sir.
और फिर नीचे और जा रहा है ये. इट इज गोइंग डाउन, राइट.
correct.
सो नाउ डू इट इन अ नॉर्मल मैनर, अज्यूमिंग कि नेट डिस्प्लेसमेंट आपको पता है, ए पता है, टी निकालना है आपको. तो एस इज इक्वल टू यू टी प्लस हाफ ए टी स्क्वायर माइनस 3 इज इक्वल टू यू टी. यू टी कितना हो गया आपका? यू इन, ये तो आपको मालूम नहीं है एंगल, तो लेट्स से इट
हम्म,
इज 15 साइन थीटा, हमें मालूम नहीं है,
हाँ.
इंटू टी minus half into 10 into t square. So we have two unknowns. We don't know the angle at which she is at,
हम्म,
and we also don't know how much time it'll take to cover 3 meters because we don't know this initial velocity.
correct.
Let's look at the horizontal part, x axis. So मैं हमेशा क्वेश्चन को x और y में लिखता हूँ, लिखता भी नहीं हूँ मैं. I have covered 12 meters and I am going with the velocity of u cos theta, which is into time. Distance is equal to speed into time. So how much is this? 15 multiplied by cos theta into time.
हम्म,
So 12 is equal to 15 into cos theta into time, right?
yes sir.
Which means if I think logically, I have two equations, two unknowns, one theta and second t. One theta is unknown, the second unknown is t. Two equations,
हम्म,
two variables. That means I have to solve these, right?
yes sir.
Okay, let's say we try to solve this now. So I will put cos theta is equal to 12 by t. Sorry, 3 4 3 fours 5, 3 fours are 3 fives are. So this is 4 by 5 divided by t. Cos theta लिख लिया मैंने. And how much is sin theta going to be then? Under root of, we know trigonometry now,
हम्म,
right? So
yes sir.
minus 3 is equal to 15 multiplied by under root of 1 minus 16 by 25 t square. I'm writing this into t minus half 5 t square.
ठीक है.
right? So let me take LCM here. 15 अंडर रूट ऑफ 25 माइनस 16, बाहर लिख दिया मैंने 5t, और एक t यहाँ पे भी है मेरे पास, माइनस 5t स्क्वायर. ये दोनों कट गए, 3 बचा. 25t स्क्वायर माइनस 16 माइनस 5t स्क्वायर. 5t, 3 भी कट गया.
ठीक है.
नहीं सॉरी, 3 तो दोनों साइड पे नहीं है. 3 विल स्टे बिकॉज यहाँ नहीं है ना 3 कोई. So let me take it to the others. 5t square minus 3 is equal to under root of 25t square minus 16.
Yes, sir.
Squaring both the sides. If I square, no, that's, I can't square because I will get a 4 then. So let's say t square is equal to y. So 5y minus 3 is equal to under root of 25y minus 16. So 25y square minus 3, 9, minus 30y is equal to 25y minus 16. So this is 25y square minus 25y plus 30y, sorry, minus 30y plus 7 is equal to 0. यार अभी तक it should have been simplified.
Yes, sir.
This is going some, maybe it comes, but थोड़ा लेंदी लग रहा है मुझे. I have to displace myself. So can I? So if I look into it, this point will be how much? ये वाला, इसका अगर मैं यहाँ से यहाँ तक कैलकुलेट करता, मेरा स्टार्ट पॉइंट है 0,3, मेरा एंड पॉइंट है 12,0. Coordinates के point of view से. So let me just try that because this is way too complicated. That y is equal to x tan theta minus gx square upon 2u square cos square theta. Okay. When I am at 3, my x is 0. So I get minus g x square. X, when if x is equal to 0, then this is y is equal to 0 then. वो तो है ही नहीं हमारा. So ये तो तब applicable है. It's when it is ground to ground projection.
Yes, sir.
This is not a ground to ground projection case. How can I apply this? I think maybe we solve this, but this is getting way too lengthy. My initial position is known to me to be minus 3. I know the acceleration. I know time. S is equal to ut minus 3 is equal to 15 sine theta is my velocity, and minus gt square because it's upward, and I write it as into minus, and 4 is equal to (15) into sine theta. Okay, and then horizontally भी लिख दिया मैंने distance. Then I have converted my 4 by 5. Oh, I saw the error. यार what the? एक मिनट. Cos theta is equal to 4 by 5t. Okay, then what I did was I converted this into sine, and I got this sine theta, and I substituted it back to the sine. Cos theta में निकालने की कोशिश करी और cos theta को यहाँ डाला. 15 into sin theta निकाल लिया. 15 into 25t square. This is t square and denominator is 5t. So this is also taken care of. 5 3s are 3t. t आ गया और एक t यहाँ पे था ये वाला, और एक t यहाँ से आया. तो वो डिनोमिनेटर में था ये जब एलसीएम लिया इसका. यहाँ पे, राइट. सो दिस बिकेम 25t स्क्वायर, 5t बाहर ले लिया और 15t था तो 5t 3 कट गया, 3 आ गया, अंदर रह गया ब्रैकेट में 25t स्क्वायर माइनस 16. अग्रीड.
हाँ
25t स्क्वायर, 3 भी काट दिया दोनों साइड से. नहीं 3 नहीं काटना था, सॉरी, नहीं काटना था क्योंकि ये 3 रह जाएगा यहाँ पे. सो दिस इज -3 इज इक्वल टू 3 माइनस 5t स्क्वायर. 5t स्क्वायर उधर ले गए, हाँ ठीक करा. बट इफ आई डू स्क्वेयरिंग नाउ दिस बिकम्स वेट, इफ t 4 में आ जाएगा,
हम्म
what value of t will satisfy both the equations? A quadratic type of situation. And t square is equal to y डाल दिया 5, ये quadratic बन गई है.
यस सर.
This is what? 25y square minus 65y plus 7 is equal to 0. Y is equal to 65 plus minus 65 square minus 4 into 25 into 7 divided by 50, right? So 65 plus minus 4225 minus 700 divided by 50. So इससे वो आ जाएगा और फिर मैं उसका स्क्वायर रूट ले लूँगा. y आ जाएगा ना इससे.
यस
I
सर.
will get 2y's, which is what I'm wondering. What are the 2y's I will get? 64225 minus 700, if I calculate, will be how much? 3600?
हम्म
65 plus minus कितना आ जाएगा? 4225 700. I'm sure we have done a calculation error which has made it very cumbersome. Should not have been. 3525 upon 5. 50, sorry. Garbad. So this will be 65 plus 60, for example. 60 60s are roughly. So this is 125 divided by 5. So this is 5 by 2. So t square is equal to 5 by 2. T is equal to under root of 5 by 2. This is 1. If I take subtraction of these two, I will get 65 minus 60 by 50 is equal to 5 by 50 is equal to 1 by 10. Appears to be a calculation error because generally I have seen most of the questions getting cut हो जाता है उसमें सारे नंबर ना. They easily y में हमने जब करा तो हमने s इज इक्वल टू यू टी और इसमें हमने cos लिखा, cos की वैल्यू t में निकाल ली और उसको साइन में कन्वर्ट कर लिया बिकॉज y हैड अ साइन डाल लिया, फिर उसको सॉल्व करा. दैट बिकेम वेरी बिग इन टी स्क्वायर. अगर तो ये वाला जो पार्ट था, आई पुट टी स्क्वायर इज इक्वल टू y. I have calculated 2 y's. I'm putting the values. Time has to be positive. So 1 is coming out to be plus 5 by root 2. The second is under root 1 by 2. So I'm getting 2 time intervals for this body to and if I use this value now in cos theta, मतलब यहाँ पे अगर मैं यूज करूँ तो मेरा एक cos theta आ जाएगा इक्वल टू 4 by 5 into under root of 2 by 5 by नहीं 5 by 2. So this will be 8 into 5 point root 5. So root 2 है, sorry. तो 4 root 2. So 4 into 1.414 divided by 5 into 2.23. So 4 into 1.1.96, no, 5.6, right? And this is 5 2s are 10 and another 11. So roughly around cos theta is coming out to be roughly around half. So theta is equal to 60 degrees. रूट 5 by 2 से अप्रोक्सीमेशन कर करके. और अगर मैं 1 by root 2 डालता हूँ यहाँ पे इस जगह पे, okay, so I will get cos theta is equal to 4 by 5 root 2. So 5 into 1.4 upon. This is not possible because here we get cos theta as 5 greater than 1. Not possible, right? So the only choice is under root 5 by 2. So which means the question में क्या था, what are the two angles, right? So one angle is 60 degree, the other angle is 30 degrees, 90 minus.
Yes,
But
sir.
way too longish in calculation. I was expecting a very straightforward calculation of, but this has turned out to be a, what should I say, a nightmare. Calculation error abhi bhi hogi, but we will have to think through where is the calculation error actually. There is some error. 100% error is there, which we have not been able to capture. But the essence of the question is this only. The way we have done, there is nothing wrong in the method. I think there is definitely some mistake in the calculation. X और Y को हमने सही solve करा है. ठीक है. Any doubts in your mind?
नहीं.
ठीक है. So hopefully it is giving you an idea that it is not very complicated or difficult topic.
Correct.
Just you need to understand the situation, and sometimes calculations can take a toll on you, but it's okay.
Okay.
So I'm sending you some questions for practice now.
ठीक है.
Okay, and I will try and solve this question once more with correct calculation. But the essence is two variables, two unknowns. Rest is how do you manipulate them and find the theta and then 90 minus theta. So now you know range, you know maximum height, you know what is a ground to ground projection, you know what is a horizontal projection. You also know that at 45 degrees you will get the maximum range. You also know the formula of range. You also know how are the velocity vectors in the motion play with each other. Where are they perpendicular with acceleration? Symmetry you understand. And what else? So I think there may be just one or two things we may have left out so far, which
Yes,
we
sir.
will do and conclude.
ठीक है.
Okay? In the meanwhile, please start doing the MCQs so that you
Okay.
get a good capture on the formulas and division of motion in X and Y, and saying ki I will take this information from X motion, put it in the Y, or get something out of the Y motion, which is accelerated motion, and put it back in X. And as you can see, the variables we play with, if you broadly look into any question, the variables you're playing with are not too many. The variables are, for example, let me just conclude this in your mind. Let me add a page to this, and just so that your thinking power increases, right? So let's say I'm on the page 2 now. Come on the page 2.
Yes, sir.
So what is that you're playing with in this? Okay, so if you were to think, what are the variables you are calculating in this whole motion? And let's take the simplest possible one, which is ground to ground. You are playing with initial velocity. कभी ये नहीं, sometimes you may not know this. Sometimes you may not know theta. Sometimes you may not know x and y, which is your equation of trajectory. The equation of trajectory, which is y is equal to x tan theta minus gx square upon 2u square cos square theta, is probably the most important one because it links x and y. So you're playing with u, you're playing with theta, you're playing with the coordinates at any point on the motion of the trajectory. You're playing with the highest height. You're also knowing that the velocity here is minimum. It is only u cos theta. You also know that gravity also is part of the picture, but it remains same throughout in y-axis. You also understand there is a symmetry in the motion.
Correct.
If this is at some angle beta, and this is some velocity, even this is v and beta. You understand, and you also understand the fall velocity is identical, except the y-axis component here is upward, here it is downward.
Downward.
Right, so you are dealing with what? U, theta, xy coordinate, range, maximum height. You're also dealing with time of flight.
Yes, sir.
You're dealing with maximum theta max, which gives you range as max as 45 degrees. You're dealing with complementary angles which have the same range. And you mostly all of this has come from the fact that you have an x-axis motion and a y-axis motion, both happening together. This motion is accelerated. This motion is non-accelerated, right? It is uniform. If you link these two through generally time, you can solve most of the problems. All of the words I have said are actually x and y getting linked together at certain points like this, which is very critical point of highest and all that. But even xy is x and y after all.
Huh.
So the body has traveled x distance and vertically it has traveled y distance.
Hmm.
So everything is x and y. If you can do this part of the motion separately, this part of the motion separately, the only commonality between them is that it takes same time to do the motion, whether you're going in x and y. So most of the time you will end up using time as the main linkage points. Rest you can know what are the variables and data available in the question. If you memorize the range, h max, and all these, you can solve it very fast. So these three, range, h max, time of flight, if you memorize them, it's easy for you to solve. The equation of trajectory, parabolic, and you have these additional points in your pocket. You have a clear picture of projectile motion. And then you need to practice it with some MCQs and some subjective questions.
Okay.
So go back to your drawing board and solve 20, 30 questions on projectile. It can give you a good edge over those who don't prepare this topic in detail. You can have complex questions in this also.
Okay.
Okay. So let's meet on Monday now and continue our discussion on this topic. We will conclude projectile motion on Monday and likely to start one more chapter of physics of class 12th this time.
Okay.
Okay. We'll just take half an hour, first 30 minutes to do few more problems, and you can come with your difficulties also.
Okay.
And then probably if we have another 1 hour, then we will discuss your question paper of physics, class 12th, or we will start the next topic of class 12th physics.
Understood.
Okay. So let's meet on Monday, and you have now time to do your self-study and all of that.
Okay.
Please do some questions on projectile. We have spent a lot of time and effort. Don't let it wash away.
Yes, sir.
Okay? Thank you very much.